Hello and good morning, you lovely, lovely people. Do you know, like a lot of us, me included at times, we say to ourselves, it's difficult, to make conversation in the Philippines, especially with your wife and with other people, to integrate with people and, to be part of the community of where we live. But really, what we should be doing is not really, dishing the people here, because we have difficulty understanding their English, and because many of us don't know where I am, Bisaya, where you are, it could be Tagalog and Travicana, whatever, it depends where you are, Cebuano. So really, we shouldn't be complaining. We should be learning the local language in the region where we are. And not just because we live here, but because it's just courtesy to do that, isn't it? Now, I've been learning this language, Bisaya, for a long time. I've been learning it for a long time. I can get by with it when someone's talking to me, if they're not drunk, and I can understand what they're talking about, or I can get the gist of it, what they're talking about. And they will ask me, do I speak, Visaya? And I will say, gamay, small, small. So really what we should be doing is integrating ourselves into this, society in which we live in. If you're a tourist and you're only here for a few weeks, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Or perhaps if you are in a big city where they speak very good English, perhaps it doesn't matter there. But we should learn it. We shouldn't be saying, oh, God, it's so difficult living here, trying to understand what they're talking about and this, that, and the other. And my wife said to me a while ago, and many other people have said the same thing to me. They said, Stephen, you should learn, Visaya. And with this dialect, they use a bit of English in their sentence structure and Visaya, and also a bit of Tagalog. So it's like a mix. And my wife said to me, as well as the barangay captain, when I used to meet him on a regular basis, weekends having a few drinks, he said, Stephen, it's good that you should learn. And he said, because it's good to know what people are talking about. For an example, you could be out somewhere and you might be having like a few beers or something like that, or you might be with a crowd of people and you don't know what they're talking about. And they could be talking bad things about you. Or, they could be, I mean, it's never happened, like where something bad's happened to me, but you never know. So it's good to learn the language. Now, I know it's difficult and I know it's time consuming, and I know it's something that, like a lot of us, don't want to do. But learning a language as well is good, not just because you're learning the language, but it's good for Alzheimer's as well, apparently. When you're learning something, especially a language, it staves off Alzheimer's because you work in your brain. You work in your brain, which in turn, apparently, I'm not a scientist, it's only the research that I've looked at. It helps with Alzheimer's, to stave off. And it keeps you active. It keeps that, your mind active. So where I live here, there are no language schools that will teach me Bisaya. So, and there are no books as such. You can go to a book. It's the nearest one you can get to this language is Cebuano. And Cebuano isn't the same as Bisaya. It's very similar, but it's not the same. So I learned from my wife, and I also learned through a dictionary, which I have managed to get from a person here. It's an old dictionary, but it's still a dictionary that I've borrowed. So instead of us complaining, and I'm one of these people who complain, we should do something about it. Because if we don't, those complaints that we have are always going to be there. Always going to be there. My boy, and when he's with me, he speaks English. When he's with his friends, it's Bisaya. And he's only 4 years old, coming 5 in October. But my boy can do both. And he speaks it as well. I hear him often. I'm like amazed. Blooming heck, son. you haven't started school yet until June, and you know, it's because my wife speaks to him in both English and Bisaya. So my son was probably going to be the best teacher for me, but I am learning, and I can get by being. Whereas before, I'd be sat with the local people, and having a few beers, and when they get into their own conversation, you may as well you're like a spare prick at a wedding, aren't you? You just sat there and you think, oh, why am I here? But when you learn, and my wife talks to me, which we have an arrangement where sometimes she will speak to me only in Bisaya. And if I say to her, Mira, I don't know what you're talking about. Or, can you tell me what this means, what that means? And she'll tell me what it means, but she won't revert back in English. That's what we have an arrangement with that. And it's every day, not long every day. It might be for 5 or 10 minutes every day. She'll speak to me in Bisaya. So I can understand more than I can speak. I will, be honest with that. And the Bisaya I do speak, I kind of get it a bit mixed up, because when you're learning this language, our sentence structure is different. For an example, we will say, can you turn on the light, please? Or can you turn off the light, please? And they will say, on the light, off the light. So it's things like that. But we shouldn't complain, should we? We are here in their country, and for us to have a better integration with the people, we should learn their language. It's just my way of thinking, people. And as I say, I've been learning for quite a long time. And, it's a very, very, very long road that I'm on. And it's a very steep road. But I can get by now. So when you go into shops, have you noticed this? When you go into shops, or you go to a shop, like a shop that's on the side of the street, and they'll see you coming, and they, you can see what they think, and they go, oh my God, there's a foreigner coming. And some of them will go out the back and let the woman, if the woman's there, talk to you, because they are shy, because they don't really understand English. So I always say to them, it's okay, no nosebleed, no, don't have a nosebleed. I said, talk to me in Visaya, and I'll see how far I get seeing what you're saying, and then I will talk back to you. And they are really, really happy and appreciate this. Oh, Bisaya, and yeah, gamay lang, gamay. And they are really, really happy, and they smile and they talk to their friend. Look, this foreigner knows a little bit of Bisaya. But instead of us complaining, we should do something about it. And this is what my wife has said to me a long time ago, because I said, Mira, half the time I don't know what you're talking about, because her English is quite good. It's not brilliant. It's quite good. We can get by on it. But I would love to be able to speak to my wife in her language. Not all the time, but some of the time, just out of being respectful, to her, and not expecting her to get tongue-tied and all that, speaking in English to me all the time. But my wife's English is, I would say it's 75%, maybe 80%. But trying to get my wife to teach me, like, fully, is very difficult. So you have to do it on your own and practice it. Once you've learned it, or you're learning it, don't be scared to use it, even if you get it wrong, because they will know what you're talking about. The hardest part is the pronunciation. So you might say a word and it's the right word, but you aren't pronouncing it properly, and they don't know what you're talking about. So it's practice makes perfect, people. And this is just a video that I was going to make a while ago, because I just think it's courtesy and it's fun. I actually enjoy sometimes doing it. I enjoy doing it, and then I practice with my wife. So what I will do, I'll get the dictionary, the Bisaya dictionary, and I will look at it, and I'll make a sentence up, and I will say the sentence, and she will answer me back. But she'll say, you've said this wrong, or you put that before this and that before that. But it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, right or wrong. Make it strong. It doesn't matter. At least we try it. So, people, a little bit of a word of advice. If you live in here, And you've got a little bit of patience. Have a little bit of patience. You need that patience to live here anyway. And, you find yourself at a bit of a loose end for like 30 minutes a day. I'm sure you can find 30 minutes out of your day. Try and learn a bit. And try, because, when people are impressed, it makes you feel good. You think, yeah, I'm learning. People can understand what I'm talking about. Like the guy he comes here often, and I said to him, Asik a padlong, because he was leaving, which means, where you going? And I said, I know some. And he was made up, and then he was talking to my wife in Bisaya. And he said, can you understand? Kamuli get, what is it? See, I'm trying to think of the word for that. Or Bisaya cat, do you understand Bisaya? Or do you, and it's like, and he was made up. And when you get that, it makes you want to learn even more. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years. Funnily enough, you'd think I'd be fluent after a few years, but it's not that easy. And because when you get older, your brain's not like a sponge anymore, is it? It takes longer for things to go in. Some people have a better memory. My memory's it's not like it was. I don't think it was ever good, my memory. But it's just nice to be able to do it. And when people appreciate it, it makes you want to learn even more. And we're never too old to learn, people. The day we stop learning is the day we die, isn't it? And I just think it's a good thing to do. And it's a fun thing to do, in my opinion. It's just me thinking this. So instead of complaining at your wife and everyone, the family around you and the company that you keep, that you can't understand, try and learn a bit. Try and integrate yourself a little bit more into the way of the Philippines. And like I said, no matter where you are in the Philippines, it's different dialects, but you only need to learn the dialect of where you live. So here, they don't understand. If someone's talking in Tagalog, many of these people don't understand, because the people who were coming around doing the posts for the PLDT, they were from Manila. So they couldn't understand the people here. It was very, very strange. Very, very strange. So the people who did know a bit of Tagalog, like my wife, she knows some Tagalog, she could speak to them and then they could answer her back. But for the people speaking in Bisaya to Tagalog, they couldn't understand each other in the same country. And I think because I come from England, as you know, they all speak English. In Welsh, they speak Welsh sometimes, but generally speaking, everyone speaks in English to each other in the whole of the country. So we can understand each other. But here, it's not like that. It's not like that. So that's it, people. Instead of complaining about we can't understand what's going on, and you can't express yourself when you go into a shop to buy something, give it a little thought and just start to learn a little bit. There are some foreigners here who speak fluent Bisaya. Some speak fluently. That's it, people. I'm over and out. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, learning is easy if you want to do it and you have the time. But thank you, people. Over and out. Take good care. Bye-bye.